Hi everyone, welcome back to Smarter Everyday Over Learning. Dear students, in this session we are going to learn about the qualitative analysis from the chapter Organic Chemistry, Some Basic Principles and Techniques from grade 11 NCERT. Right, let's start our today's session, qualitative analysis. Okay, the first step in the structure determination and characterization of organic molecule or organic compound after it has been obtained in the pure form to carry out its qualitative analysis, that is, to detect the various elements present in that particular organic compound. Various elements. Okay, why? Because in a organic compound we should not see that is in a pure form, but some types of or some kinds of various elements must be presented in that. The elements which commonly occur in organic compounds, these are always carbon must be presented, always carbon and hydrogen, and for suppose sometimes hydrogen present in the most of the compounds, and students oxygen also, oxygen and nitrogen. These are the elements present in organic compounds. Specially, a few other elements such as sulfur and phosphorus and some halogens. Halogens are representing with this letter X. Here halogens nothing but chlorine, fluorine, iodine and bromine. Okay, these are the halogens, and some more metals are also occasionally presented. Right, and now let's see the detection of carbon and hydrogen. Most probably the organic compounds contains these carbon and hydrogen, and the presence of carbon and hydrogen in an organic compound is detected by heating. This is the symbol delta representing the heating process. Heating a given compound with a dry cupric oxide, nothing but CuO. This is the cupric oxide in a hard glass, just like in this test tube. Okay, in a hard glass test tube, when carbon present is oxidized to carbon dioxide and hydrogen is oxidized to water in the form of H2O, water. Okay, for suppose if you see the equation here, carbon plus, if you add cupric oxide to carbon, and if you heat this mixture, and these are the reagents here, and students, what will be formed as products here? CO2 and copper. If you balance this equation, right? Okay, this is the main equation of this combustion of this cupric oxide with the help of this carbon, right? And for suppose to this hydrogen, if you add the same cupric oxide and if you heat this compound, then water will be formed with copper also. Here if you balance this equation, here 2H and 2H2O, right? And carbon dioxide turns lime water into milky white. That thing you know very well. If to this lime water, if you add CO2, then it will be turned into milky white. That thing you know very well. While water condenses on the cooler parts of the test tubes and turns anhydrous copper sulfate, anhydrous nothing but dry copper sulfate, absence of water molecules, that is called as anhydrous copper sulfate, USO4. Let's see the equations for this. Calcium hydroxide, this is the example of lime water. Okay, and this is only in basic in nature. To this, if you add CO2, carbon dioxide, then students, what you should get here? CaCO3, nothing but calcium carbonate, that is milkiness, plus H2O is the co-product here. Okay, if you add some amount of CO2, carbon dioxide to this lime water, then calcium carbonate will form with water molecule. And for suppose if you take copper sulfate copper sulfate, which is white in color, and to this if you add 5 moles of water, then students, what you should get here, CuSO4 and 5H2O. Okay, and here this is present in blue color. And why? Because what happens here, you need to see, if you add, this is hydrated compound, water is hydrated compound, so it is anhydrous copper sulfate. Anhydrous nothing but here there is no color, so this is completely colorless. Then if you add water molecules to this, the color will come, that is in blue color, so this is known as hydrated copper sulfate. Okay, now let's see the procedure. In actual practice, a small quantity of the pure and dry compound is mixed with nearly 5 to 6 times its weight of dry and pure copper oxide, that is cupric oxide powder. Cupric oxide powder. Directly I am showing in this picture. This intimate mixture is strongly heated in a hard glass tube. This is the glass tube and fitted with a delivery tube. Here you can see the labeling of this picture. This is delivery tube. Okay, this is a glass tube, just like a boiling tube. Okay, and here itself you can see the Bunsen burner or a spirit lamp also, you can take it in instead of this. Here is a stand. Right, and the other end of the delivery tube, here is the second end of the delivery tube, you can dip in lime water. This is lime water, nothing but the formula calcium hydroxide, CaOH twice, calcium hydroxide. Here I have written here. Okay, and the bulb in the delivery tube, here is the bulb of a delivery tube, is packed with anhydrous copper sulfate. Anhydrous copper sulfate nothing but which is in dry condition without water, and on heating the carbon is oxidized to CO2. Here carbon is oxidized to CO2. Right, carbon is oxidized to CO2, and students, which turns lime water, this is the lime water inside the test tube. Here another test tube, here milky, and hydrogen is oxidized into water, just like H is oxidized into H2O. Then which turns anhydrous copper sulfate into blue. Here the white copper sulfate you can take, you already have taken in this bulb with a trap of delivery tube, and this turns into blue color copper sulfate. Okay, right. Now in this equation, in this experiment, what are the modifications you have to see here? If the organic substance which has taken in that compound as a compound in that boiler tube, that is a volatile liquid or a gas, the vapors of the compound are passed through the heated cupric oxide. Here you have taken that organic compound with copper oxide, nothing but cupric oxide, CuO. Okay, here from this compound the vapors are passed through the heated cupric oxide taken in a hard glass test tube, and these gases are evolved and tested for CO2 and H2O vapors as described above in this diagram. And what is the second modification, students? If the organic compound, here you have taken that organic compound also contains sulfur besides carbon and hydrogen. For suppose with the presence of carbon and hydrogen, if for suppose sulfur also presented in that particular organic compound, then this is due to the fact that sulfur is oxidized into sulfur dioxide, which also turns lime water into milky due to the formation of insoluble calcium sulfite. As I told you, sulfur is oxidized into SO2, sulfur dioxide. This is also turns the lime water into milky due to the formation of calcium sulfite. I told you, CaSO4. Sulfite means CaSO3. And now let's see the equation for this. For CuO, if you add sulfur, then while heat, to this CuO, copper oxide, if you add sulfur, then by heating process, here students you should get copper 1 oxide and sulfur dioxide also. And for suppose if you take lime water, CaOH twice, calcium hydroxide is the lime water here. To this if you add the formed sulfur dioxide, SO2, then calcium sulfite, this is milky white, plus water also will be formed here. In such a case, the outcoming gases are first passed through an acidified solution of potassium dichromate, K2Cr2O7, which absorbs sulfur dioxide and turns into green color. You can remember this green color, and then through the lime water. Okay, this is potassium dichromate. Okay students, this is about the detection of carbon and hydrogen. This is the complete diagrammatic explanation, and these are the chemical equations with lime water and calcium carbonate with cupric oxide, and what are the modifications also I have explained to you. Now let's see the next one, detection of nitrogen. Up to now about carbon and hydrogen is completed. Next let's see about detection of nitrogen. Right, here detection of nitrogen. The presence of nitrogen in an organic compound, it can be detected by these tests, these following tests. The first one is dry heating test, and second one is soda lime test, and third one is Lessein's test. And here you have to prepare a Lessein's extract also, Lessein's extract. Okay, in the first step, this is the first type, dry heating test. If the organic compound contains this nitrogen, it is heated. It is heated strongly than if it gives a smell of burning hair or burning feather. If you observe this type of smell, then you can identify that organic compound contain nitrogen. Right, now let's see here. One limitation is there for dry heating test. This test is however not reliable, since many compounds containing nitrogen do not give this test accurately. Just you need to do, but you may not get the exact result from this dry heating test. Then you can go for the next one, second type of this detecting of nitrogen, soda lime test. Okay, here what you have to do in this test. In this test, a pinch of organic compound is heated strongly in a dry test tube with a soda lime. Soda lime means the combination of sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide. Okay, this is known as soda lime. Now students, if you heat like that organic compound with this soda lime combination, then a smell of ammonia indicates smell of ammonia, NH3 smell. You know that's a strong gently smell if you get, that indicates the presence of nitrogen in that particular compound. Okay, and NH2CO NH2. Yes, your guess is correct. This is the name of the compound, organic compound urea. Right. To this, if you add NaOH, sodium hydroxide, in the presence of calcium oxide, okay, then what you should get here, NH3 ammonia plus sodium carbonate. Na2CO3 is sodium carbonate. Here, while balancing the chemical equation here 2 sodium atoms, then students if you place here 2, okay, then here also 2 nitrogens, here 2 sodiums, and if you place here 2, then coming to hydrogens here 2 3s 6, and here 1 2 3 4 5 6. So equation is balanced here. This is the chemical equation. To this urea, if you add NaOH, you should get here smell of ammonia, NH3. in this process we have some limitations. This test is not also reliable since many organic compounds containing nitrogen such as nitro group, NO2 nitro group, and azo group, nothing but N double bond N, right, like this, azo groups also. Okay, it may not give exact result if the compound contains this type of compounds. Now let's see the third type. Here what we have, Lessein's extract and Lessein's test this is, and for this you have to prepare Lessein's extract also. This is the most reliable test for detecting nitrogen and sulfur also, sulfur and some halogens also in an organic compound. Halogens nothing but you know very well, chlorine, fluorine, bromine and iodine. In this test, the elements present in the organic compound are converted from covalent form to ionic form by fusing the compound with sodium metal. Here you can use the metal of sodium. Okay. Now let's see how we can prepare the Lessein's extract. The entire procedure, let's see. Lessein's test is the most reliable test for detecting the elements. Preparation of Lessein's extract, let's see now. Here is the compound containing some elements, nothing but nitrogen, sulfur and halogens. In this organic compound, in this test, the elements present in the organic compound are converted from covalent form into the ionic form by fusing the compound with sodium metal. First of all, in this preparation, take a small piece of freshly cutted sodium, and here in this procedure you can see the reactions of test for nitrogen. Here the chemistry of the test for sodium with halogens and cyanide. Here in this procedure you can see small pinch of sodium metal and Lessein's extract. In this procedure, organic compound we have to take as a sample, and materials required. What are the materials you need to take? First one, metallic substance and organic compound, distilled water and forceps, test tubes, test tube holder and test tube stand, dropper, some piston and funnel, filter paper and grease also. Here is the tripod stand, Bunsen burner. Okay, now see the procedure. First of all, with the help of forceps, you need to take some small pinch, small amount, just like a pea. It is heated gently in a fusion tube till it forms a shining globule. Here, in this, with the help of holder, that's you can placed on a flame, then heated gently. And students, the tube is removed from the flame and a small amount of the organic compound, just 50 to 60 milligrams, is added to that and heated strongly till it becomes red hot. Just like this, you can heat up to 2 to 3 minutes. The hot tube is then plunged into a china dish containing 10 to 15 ml of distilled water. The contents of the china dish are boiled for a few minutes. After that, cooled and then filtered. This is the heating process. After that, you can remove from that Bunsen burner, you can filter them and you can filter that solution. The filtrate is called Lessein's extract. And what are the precautions? Always use forceps while handling the sodium metal because it is dangerous. Before using sodium, press within the folds and filter paper usage. Use dry fusion tube for sodium fusion. Repeat this complete process of sodium fusion 2 to 3. Okay students, this is about the preparation of Lessein's extract from sodium metal. Okay, and what are the precautions we have to follow while preparing this extract in a laboratory also, just we have studied. And now let's see test for nitrogen by using this Lessein's extract. Actually, this Lessein's extract is alkaline nature, since the excess of sodium is react with water, then produce sodium hydroxide, nothing but NaOH. To a part of this, alkaline solution is added, a few drops of freshly prepared solution of ferrous sulfate, FeSO4 solution. The contents are warmed, a little cooled, and then acidified with next again dilute H2SO4, nothing but sulfuric acid. Then the appearance of a green or blue colored. This indicates the presence of nitrogen. However, the appearance of blood red color, if you observe red color, that indicates the presence of both nitrogen and sulfur. You need to identify these colors while we are testing with ferrous sulfate with dilute H2SO4. And let's see all the equations also for this. Now see chemistry of the test. During fusion of carbon and nitrogen fusion, the organic compound combined to form sodium cyanide, nothing but NaCN. This is sodium cyanide. Okay. For suppose to this sodium, if you add carbon and nitrogen from the organic compound, this completely from organic compound, and if you heat the substance, you should get here sodium cyanide. Okay. On heating the filtrate with ferrous sulfate, here sodium cyanide has come. This sodium cyanide if you take, and to this if you add ferrous sulfate, nothing but FeSO4, then what you should get here? Again here sodium sulfate Na2SO4 plus iron cyanide FeCN 2 here. And if you balance this chemical equation here, 2 sodium atoms are presented, here also 2 sodium atoms, and iron here 1 iron, here 1 iron, and sulfur SO4 only sulfur 1, oxygens 4, okay, cyanides here 2, here 2. So the total full equation is balanced. On heating the filtrate, this is the filtrate with ferrous sulfate, this is iron sulfate solution, and sodium ferrocyanide, that is here the formation of sodium hexacyanoferrate, 2 ions can be formed, and at the same time some ferrous ions Fe plus 2 ions are oxidized to ferric ion Fe plus 3, and these Fe plus 3 ions then react with sodium hexacyanoferrate to produce iron 3 hexacyanoferrate 2 or ferrocyanide, which is Prussian blue in color. This is the entire chemical equation further what I explained to you. And here while equation balancing, here 3 Na4, here Fe4 means here also if you place 4 and sodium atoms here 3 4s 12, then here if you place 12 Na plus ions, this equation should be balanced. For suppose if nitrogen and sulfur both are present in the organic compound, nitrogen and sulfur, they may combine during this fusion to form sodium thiocyanate. Sodium thiocyanate. This is also called as sulfocyanide due to insufficient sodium. This when heated with ferrous sulfate again produces red coloration due to ferric thiocyanate or by the reaction with ferric ions formed by oxidation of ferrous ions. Here you can see the representation of chemical equation. Here sodium plus carbon with sulfur and nitrogen. Then finally here sodium thiocyanate, NaSCN, this is thiocyanate. And to this Fe plus 3 ions, if you add the formed sodium thiocyanate, NaSCN, then finally what you should get? SCN here 3 plus Na plus. If you want to balance this chemical equation, here N3 is there, so if you place here 3 and here also 3, and this is the name of ferric thiocyanate, which is in red blood coloration. But the absence of blood red coloration does not necessarily mean that sulfur is absent. This is due to the reaction and the reason that in presence of excess of sodium metal, for suppose excess of sodium metal is present and sodium thiocyanate decomposes to form sodium cyanide and sodium sulfide also. Let's see the equation for this. Here sodium plus, if you add NaSCN, then if you heat this compound, Na2S plus sodium cyanide will come. Okay, excess of sodium metal here, then sodium thiocyanate this is, and this decomposes into sodium cyanide and sodium sulfide Na2S while heating the process, by applying some heat. Okay students, this is about the detection of nitrogen and lessons extraction also preparation. Okay, let's see in our next class detection of halogens, right? And if you understand this class, you can share to your friends. Thank you. Please subscribe and click the bell icon for my further updates. Thanks for watching.